zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go. I'ma get, when I flow, I'ma hit, and I know I'm the kid, I'm a soul, don't forget, I'ma blow up with it, got my flow so vivid, here we go, just beginning, yeah, I throw every inning, got my flow so legit, all I know is my shit, here I go, they can whip, Post Malone in this bitch, rock star making hits, got guitar in this shit, leaving scars cause we lit, all these bars that I spit, yeah. Let's go! Let's go! If I know what I want, then I know what I get. If I go, they can win, cause they know I get lit. I'm a pro, not a myth, and my flow got some wit. Never slow, drink a fit. I get hype, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. I get hype for this shit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. I get hype for this shit. That's right. I stay loose, I stay hype. I stay loose, I stay hype. I stay loose, I stay hype. I could do this all night, cause I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right. And I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go! Yeah! Let's go! If I go, I'ma get, when I flow, I'ma hit, and I know I'm the kid, I'm a soul, don't forget, I'ma blow up with it, got my flow so vivid, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Angles WWE Elimination Chamber pre-show, prediction show, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be talking about everything that's going on tonight's WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I am your host, Joey Karni. Again, this is the Angle Podcast. If you haven't already, like and subscribe down below. And let's get this show on the road. By the way, tonight, WWE Elimination Chamber, being kind of sad to say it, but it's the last pay-per-view on the WWE Network before they transition over to Peacock next month in March. So this is a big thing. I remember watching my first WWE pay-per-view on the network, and I believe that was WrestleMania 30. Yeselmanias for those who don't necessarily remember. But yeah, tonight being the last WWE pay-per-view on the WWE Network before they transition over to Peacock in March. Although it's kind of sad because I've loved the network, I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for this pay-per-view. There is no light on here. I'm using all natural light. It's a good Sunday afternoon, and we're going to talk some Elimination Chamber. Again, I'm your host, Joey Karni. Welcome to the Angles WWE Elimination Chamber pre-show, prediction show, and stay tuned till after the pay-per-view for the follow-up show, where I'll be fully reviewing the pay-per-view and going over the results of the show. So let's jump into the matches that are going down tonight. A lot of interesting things happening tonight. two Elimination Chamber matches. Excuse me. And one of those being for the WWE Championship, another being for an opportunity later in the night or after the match. We're not really sure what's going to happen for the Universal Championship to face Roman Reigns. So, off the bat, I want to start off with one of the biggest matches of tonight, and that is the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match that is going to have the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, as you can see from the background of the stream. Drew McIntyre defending his WWE Championship against all former WWE Champions, by the way. That was made to be a point by Adam Pearce on Raw. We have the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. We have Jeff Hardy. We have the Viper, Randy Orton. The phenomenal AJ Styles and Kofi Kingston. Kofi actually earning his shot this past Monday on Raw after Miz pulled himself out because he claims he already holds the Money in the Bank contract. There's no need for him to be in this match, which is actually a very, very smart move by the Miz and ultimately by WWE Creative. Give it to somebody else who doesn't have the opportunity, such as Kofi Kingston, a great former WWE champion who deserves very well to win this match. I didn't like how he had to qualify and beat somebody for the match to jump in this match where everybody else was announced. But besides the point, we're going to jump into this first match. And like I said, the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match, which I think will either start the show or be closer to the beginning. A lot of different outcomes that I can talk about for this match. I can definitely see AJ Styles walking away with the WWE Championship heading into WrestleMania. I can definitely see Randy Orton walking away with the WWE Championship as he's done many times before going into WrestleMania. I can see Sheamus walking away with this title, earning his shot on this past Monday to go in last into the Chamber. He'll be entering number 6, defeating the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre in the main event of Monday Night Raw. I can also see Drew McIntyre successfully defending his WWE Championship in this match. Like I said, a lot of different outcomes. Let's jump into it now. From what we saw in the Gauntlet match, Kofi Kingston being kind of put in at the last minute, didn't really have a fair shot, getting taken out of that match quite early compared to his other times in a Gauntlet match. So I don't think that Kofi is walking away with the WWE Championship tonight. Another one, Jeff Hardy, hasn't necessarily been booked very, very well in the last couple months. He was the first one eliminated in the Royal Rumble this year after only being in for minutes or so. Hasn't really been featured on anything really besides his stuff with Elias here and there. Really coming over from SmackDown with a great Intercontinental title situation with Sami Zayn at that time and AJ Styles, but coming to Raw, not necessarily really doing anything. So I don't see Jeff Hardy walking away with this WWE Championship in this match. And ultimately, I didn't really think, I was surprised when he was announced for the match, to be honest with you, because I didn't necessarily think that it was a good fit. But Jeff Hardy creates moments. Elimination Chamber is about creating moments, and 2 and 2 go together. So might as well put Jeff Hardy. He's a former WWE champion and with a great legacy in WWE, so might as well put him in that match. So it really comes down to, like I said, the 4 people that I think have a fair shot, and that is AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Sheamus, and the current champion, Drew McIntyre. WrestleMania this year, I'm predicting, is going to be filled with banger matches. I said that on countless occasions already. I even tweeted it out. I think that these matches at this year's WrestleMania, being that we're coming back from what happened last year at WrestleMania 36, taking place in the Performance Center, no crowd, just very, very like sad and like depressing. Not, don't get me wrong, it was a great WrestleMania for the situation that it was. But this year, WWE being able to go into Raymond James Stadium and put on a show and just, bring the Thunderdome and bring all the theatrics that we look forward to for WrestleMania. So I think this year they're going to put on quite a phenomenal show. And I think the best way to do that for a WWE Championship match is to have Drew McIntyre walk in as the WWE Champion. Now, another thing also, if you look at all the competitors in this match, I think they're not only preparing, and I think I said this, I don't know when I actually said this, but I know I did say it. When you're looking at these competitors in this match, you also have to think too, like, who does WWE think in this list of on this list of competitors can face or compete for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania? Can we get Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship? Can we get Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton again? Can we get Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for the WWE title? A lot of different outcomes that any of them I would really be excited to see. It comes down to, I believe Drew McIntyre is going to walk out of this match still WWE champion. Despite Sheamus entering at number 6, really having a clear direction that he wants Drew McIntyre in the WWE title. When I do these prediction shows and all this pre-show jazz, I like to kind of fast forward things and see, like, okay, whatever happens tonight obviously is leading to something bigger. What is that something bigger? Obviously, it is WrestleMania. But before WrestleMania, we have Fastlane. That's in March. That's going to be the first official WWE pay-per-view on Peacock. Tonight being the last on the WWE Network. So can we see Drew McIntyre defend his WWE Championship at Fastlane against Sheamus? Possibly. Giving us that one-on-one match, or is all this being done to give us that one-on-one match at WrestleMania, which I wouldn't mind. It'd be a banger of a match. Sheamus, since he returned last summer, has been doing phenomenal things. Like, every match he's in is just a classic great match. So I would love to see these two go head-to-head. There's chemistry there. There's history. It makes sense. It's not just a thrown-together storyline. It's been going for months. We know that this is, this balloon's about to pop. So if that's the direction for WrestleMania, I'm all for it. Or Fastlane. I don't know necessarily. Maybe we see Sheamus walk out tonight, WWE Champion, and we get the rematch at WrestleMania. Drew gets the big moment and regains the title, which I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, because we saw that kind of happen at the end of 2020 with McIntyre and Orton in the Thunderdome. So I don't know where they're going with this, but I definitely think that Drew McIntyre is walking out tonight as the WWE Champion going into Fastlane and WrestleMania. Now we also have to think too, Edge has not made his decision. It's pretty clear, let's be honest here, it's pretty clear where he's going with his decision. And it's not going to be the WWE Championship or Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. In my opinion, at least. So yeah, I think tonight's first chamber match is going to be for the WWE Championship, and it's going to be Drew McIntyre winning that match, possibly even pinning Sheamus for the win at the end. Maybe we get, maybe it's just down to those two, and we get them for a couple minutes, and we kind of get that one-on-one feel, and then Drew McIntyre gets the win because he did lose on Monday Night Raw to Sheamus. So I definitely think, I'm predicting now, Drew McIntyre retaining his WWE Championship tonight, going into WrestleMania. But hold up, wait a minute. Let's throw some money in a bank into it, because Miz is out of the match. We don't know where his place is going to be on the card. We don't know if he's going to get himself involved in the match. When a superstar is eliminated, they leave the chamber, and then Miz maybe runs in to cash in his money in the bank. So maybe Miz wins the WWE Championship tonight, goes on to Fastlane to defend it, or even goes into WrestleMania, and then we get at WrestleMania Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus The Miz, who will be the champion. Triple threat match for the WWE title. A lot of different possible outcomes here, but ultimately they all lead. I honestly, in my soul, believe Drew McIntyre is leaving tonight as the WWE champion. Now, there's a lot of other great matches on the card tonight. Sorry, not a lot. There's like 4. 4 or 5, but we don't know if one of them is happening. Let's talk about the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. The current champions, who are pulling triple duty, going from Raw, NXT, SmackDown this whole past week, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I really didn't like these two as a tag team at first. They're growing on me. They have great chemistry together, a lot of comedic stuff going on. They really work together as a whole here. Whole. Nia Jax, you get it. It's kind of played out at this point, but it's fine. They're defending their women's tag team championships tonight against the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair, and the current SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. I don't like this. I don't like it because, one, we've gotten it before. Sasha and Bayley. Two, we know where this is leading. I would not be surprised if Sasha turns on Bianca tonight. It's coming. She's the boss. She's the blueprint. She's the standard. She's the SmackDown Women's Champion. I watched, right before I started this live, I watched the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Sasha Banks, and she's motivated as all hell. She is determined. She is aggressive. She is feisty. Sasha's a feisty one. And I can't even count how many times she said in that interview she wants to be the best. She's a businesswoman. She even said she was bigger than Vince McMahon at one point. She is right now. There's two words to describe her, and that's ruthless aggression. Sasha Banks is showing the world that the ruthless aggression period, era, whatever you want to call it, is in full swing right now. And I think that she's not going to let anybody, including Bianca Belair, stand above her, only behind her. So I think tonight we're going to see a turn. Sasha Banks is better as a heel, in my opinion. The way she presents herself now still looks like a heel. And I think that's where it's leading. Do I think they're winning the tag team titles? I hope not, because we've seen it done with Sasha and Bayley already. I don't want to see, another story where the women's tag team titles get involved to help further a storyline, like a turn storyline. I'm not a fan of that. I want to see these titles actually defended by real teams, authentic teams, and there's a lot of WWE women's teams in the division right now. A lot of them brewing in NXT, a lot on SmackDown. We have new teams like Natalya and Tamina. We have the Riot Squad. We have teams on Monday Night Raw like Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. There's, Asuka and Charlotte kind of doing their thing here and there. A lot of different teams that I think would be better fit. This is just to further Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I think tonight we're going to see Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler retain the titles. And we've kind of seen this storyline played out before where Shawn Michaels is competing for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, and the champion at the time is John Cena. They win the World Tag Team Championship on Raw. And Shawn super kicks Cena. They go into WrestleMania as tag team champs, and just do the thing. Have a great match. So this could possibly be where they're going with Bianca and Sasha. I don't think it needs to go there. I think that this is already a marquee match. Bianca won the Royal Rumble. Sasha is the champion right now in WWE. So I think that you keep the tag titles far away from them. Let the tag teams, take care of that. And I think ultimately tonight, Nia and Shayna retain the titles. We see a turn from Sasha Banks. And then this is how, you can kind of play the idea of Sasha is tired of Bianca playing games, and she wants her to pick her for WrestleMania. And here's a reason why, backstab right there, costing her the match. I think that's what we're going to go with this. So I'm predicting for the Women's Tag Team Championship match, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler retaining over Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Next match on the card. we have the United States Championship match, the triple threat match. Bobby Lashley is defending his title against Keith Lee and Riddle. By far, this is the match I am looking forward to most. I think that this match has potential to be the best match on the card. You may or not agree with me here just because of what we've seen with Bobby Lashley and Riddle over the last few weeks. Riddle really getting his ass whooped. I mean, whooped. He got his ass whooped by Keith Lee this past Monday. He got his ass whooped countless times by Bobby Lashley, which is why I think tonight, let's get straight to the point. I think Riddle's walking away with the U.S. Championship tonight. You may not like that, but look at the way this man's been booked over the last few weeks. He's getting his ass whooped. So maybe tonight he gets his opportunity. Bobby Lashley, huge aggressive guy. Keith Lee, huge aggressive guy. They're gonna go at it, and Riddle's gonna slip in and win that title. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, would I love to see Keith Lee win this match? Absolutely. Do I think it needs to happen tonight? No. Give him the moment at WrestleMania. Bigger match feel. Let's work up to it a little bit. Bobby Lashley, the reign that he's had as United States champion, the legitimacy that he's put on this title. If you look at the last year, Bobby Lashley's probably had one of the best runs out of anybody on all three brands. Bobby Lashley, I think, has been pinned once since June of last year. He's lost one match. The guy is just bulldozing people every week. Even if he's not involved in the match, he's coming out and just whooping ass. Do I think that with this run, do I think he deserves to walk into WrestleMania as a champion? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to see Bobby Lashley walk into WrestleMania, lose the title, maybe to, like I said, Keith Lee. But just the way that they're booking things lately, I really do think that Riddle's going to slip away tonight with the U.S. title. Would I enjoy that? Absolutely. Riddle's hysterical. He's one of the best comedy wrestlers we have today. He's amazing in the ring. If you look at his work in NXT, he was fantastic. If you look at his work that he's done on Raw recently, and even on his short run on SmackDown, he's great. Guy's got a lot of potential. So I think for that match, the triple threat match for the U.S. title, I think that we may see Riddle slip away with the title tonight. Who knows? Obviously WWE Creative knows, but, hypothetically speaking, who knows? We have the Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka is still scheduled to defend against Lacey Evans. A lot of people are predicting otherwise. Lacey Evans announcing on Raw that she's pregnant. Reports coming out saying it's actually true. Timing is everything here in the WWE. I mean, Lacey, I believe, was being groomed to be the next Raw Women's Champion. Possibly winning it tonight, heading into WrestleMania. To face Charlotte. Who knows? I keep saying who knows. WWE knows. But she's actually pregnant. Has it been confirmed? I have no idea. Has that actually been confirmed? I have no idea if that's actually been confirmed. So there's a lot of different possibilities that can happen tonight with the Raw Women's Championship. And I'm actually excited for it because there's so many possibilities. And right now, everything is kind of up in the air. A lot of people are predicting that Charlotte Flair is going to step in and face Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship and win it going into WrestleMania. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. Lacey Evans is a heel. She's working with Ric Flair, the best in the game. So I think she's going to come out and she's going to announce maybe Peyton Royce takes her spot to go against Asuka tonight. A lot of people were also saying, what if we get a Elimination Chamber match, a third Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's Championship? Because there's a lot of contenders on Monday Night Raw that we can put in there. There's a lot of different possibilities. Charlotte not being involved in a pay-per-view, I don't think that's normal. So I think that we may see her come out involved in some way. But if you ask me, I don't think Lacey's going to be in the match. I think she's going to replace herself with Peyton Royce, and Asuka's going to retain. A lot of people are predicting or saying that maybe Rhea Ripley comes in and gets herself involved in a match. We got a little bit more time until WrestleMania. I think Rhea Ripley's time will come, and she'll be the champion at WrestleMania. I think that's kind of where we're going. Maybe Charlotte Flair wins the title tonight, goes into WrestleMania, and Rhea Ripley takes it from her. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different directions we can go with this Raw Women's Championship. So it's probably the most underrated match on the entire card because we have no idea what's going to happen. And I'm just trying to throw out different possibilities. And I haven't really been paying attention to the chat, so let me kind of look at that now to see what's going on. I'm happy we're getting some engagement here. But those in the chat, who do you think is going to replace Lacey Evans in tonight's Raw Women's Championship match against Asuka? Because there's a lot of people saying it could be Charlotte. There's a lot of people that like myself, that's saying it could possibly be Peyton Royce because of how close she is with Lacey. Maybe we get an Elimination Chamber match. I'm not sure. Not really sure. I'm seeing here that apparently Keith Lee has been pulled from the Elimination Chamber match tonight. Let me look that up just to see what's going on, because I don't want to give you any false information here. Let me look at what WWE is talking about, if they're going to say anything about it. I don't see anything here that says that yet. You would think WWE would say something. Let's look at WWE.com. I'm not sure. Not really sure what's happening here. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. I see people in the chat talking about that Keith Lee has been pulled from the United States Championship match tonight. I'm not really sure. I hope not. I hope everything is okay if he was. Still doesn't... I mean, that kind of changes the whole freaking match here. So if Keith Lee is pulled out of the match, Bobby Lashley's retaining, without a doubt. But if he is in the match, I think it's going to be Riddle, slip away with the title. Kyle doesn't give fake news. Yeah, he said he's heard that on Kyle from Neighbor Brump says, he says that he saw it on Twitter. So the hardest part of the ring, sorry. So he saw it on Twitter, so I'm not sure. If that's true, I hope everything is okay with Keith Lee. And yeah. But back to what I was talking about with the Raw Women's Championship match tonight. A lot of different possibilities. I think that it's probably going to be Peyton Royce to replace Lacey. If Charlotte was to replace Lacey, it just it doesn't make sense to I don't know. Like if you're just looking at the storyline, Lacey's rival is Charlotte Flair. So with Lacey out, she would not want Charlotte to take her place. It would be someone that she's close to, like Peyton Royce. So I don't think it's going to be Charlotte, because why would you reward Charlotte if it was up to Lacey Evans? I don't know if I'm wording that right, but I definitely think it's either going to be Peyton Royce or somebody else, or maybe we just don't have the match at all. Who knows? It's a lot of unpredictability in tonight's WWE Elimination Chamber. But if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Joey Karni. This is the Angle Podcast prediction and preview show, whatever you want to call it, for WWE Elimination Chamber. I will also be doing a live show. I will be streaming live after the pay-per-view concludes to go over the results and do a full review of the show. The matches we have talked about so far are the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match that I predict Drew McIntyre to win. Another match that we've talked about is the Women's Tag Team Championship match, which I think that Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax will retain. The United States Championship match, the triple threat match that I believe Keith Lee has been pulled out of. If he is in the match, I'm saying Riddle wins. If he's not in the match, Bobby Lashley retains. The Raw Women's Championship match, whatever happens tonight, whoever replaces Lacey, I think Asuka is going to win and possibly go into WrestleMania with the championship. The last match that I want to discuss tonight is for the number one contendership spot for the Universal Championship. The winner of this Elimination Chamber will go on after the chamber ends to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. The reason why I'm going over this match last, and I try to go over the matches in the order I think that they'll happen on the pay-per-view. NXT TakeOver, Vengeance Day, I did that, and every match that I talked about went in that exact order. So it was kind of crazy how that happened like that. So I'm hoping the same thing happens tonight like this. And the last match we get is for the number one contendership spot to face Roman. And if we know anything about Roman, if we know anything about how a heel works in WWE, his ass is going to come out at the end of the chamber as soon as it comes up to get that match going. It's not going to be like the first match of the night is for that spot, and then the main event, he faces Roman or whatever. Roman's coming out at the conclusion of that match to get it done as quickly as possible. You can see on the background render here that I have that SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, the number one contendership spot to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Later in the night or after the match, we don't know. We have Jey Uso. We have Sami Zayn. We have King Corbin. We have Daniel Bryan. We have Kevin Owens. And we have Cesaro. Let's kind of do a process of elimination here. Do we think it's going to be Sami Zayn? Hell no. Not right now, at least. Sami Zayn is not going to win this match. Is it going to be King Corbin? Hell no. Let's be honest here. It's not going to be either one of those two. Kevin Owens? He's had a lot of shots over the last few months. I don't think, though, it's going to be Kevin Owens. I don't. Is it going to be Daniel Bryan? Well, it could. It could happen. Is it going to be Jey Uso? I got nothing. Because it can be Jey Uso. My two picks for this match are Jey Uso and Cesaro. Obviously, whoever wins the Elimination Chamber is not defeating Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. That's not a spoiler alert. This is just a fact. He's going into WrestleMania as the Universal Champion. There's no one bigger in WWE right now than Roman Reigns. Maybe Bad Bunny. But, yeah, no one bigger right now than Roman Reigns. He's going into WrestleMania as the Universal Heavyweight Champion. Now, who can it be? Who's going to get the shot? I think it's going to be Cesaro. I hope it's Cesaro. But we also have to, talk about the but here. Whoever wins this match is not getting a fair shot at the Universal Championship. It's going to be a quick match to set something up. We know what that's going to be. But before we get there, let's talk about the chamber match. Yeah, so I'm predicting Cesaro is going to win the chamber match just by the way he's been booked over the last few weeks. Really getting a strong sort of push on SmackDown. I'm happy to see it. I think he's one of the best on the roster across the board. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, whatever the hell you want to call it. Cesaro is one of the best that WWE has today. I think he's going to win the chamber tonight. I think he's going to win the chamber. And is ultimately going to lose to Roman Reigns. But why? Because we're going to see Edge come out and spear the hell. He's going to spear the holy hell out of Roman Reigns. And he's going to pick Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. No one yet has put their hands on Edge besides Roman. Which leads only one choice to make for Edge. And that is Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. That's, I think, how the pay-per-view is going to conclude. So I think Cesaro is, there's no words because there's so many possibilities for this entire night. Looking at all the matches. So let's kind of start from the bottom up, and we'll go over my predictions again. The WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match, I think Drew's taking that win. He's going to beat Sheamus, and maybe they get their one-on-one match at Fastlane, but something bigger is being planned for WrestleMania. We don't know. Maybe it's Lesnar. Who knows for Drew? But I think Drew is leaving tonight as the WWE Champion. The Women's Tag Team Championship match, it's obviously leading to a turn for Sasha Banks on Bianca Belair, so I think that Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are getting the win in that match. We have the United States Championship match. Supposedly it's a triple threat. Bobby Lashley defending against Keith Lee and Riddle. People are reporting that Keith Lee has been pulled from the match. So if that is the case, Bobby Lashley is retaining that title, his United States title. We have the Raw Women's Championship match that is scheduled to be Lacey Evans versus Asuka. Lacey Evans claiming she's pregnant. I think it's going to be Peyton Royce that replaces her. A lot of people are saying maybe Rhea Ripley. A lot of people are saying maybe it's going to be Charlotte Flair. People are also saying maybe we get an Elimination Chamber match for the title. But ultimately, I think it's going to be Peyton Royce replacing Lacey, but having Asuka win and retain her title. We have the number one contendership spot for the Universal Championship to face Roman Reigns after the match. And I am predicting Cesaro is going to get that win because based upon the booking of everybody else, I think that's just the one that makes the most sense. There's a lot of... Tonight is going to be an interesting one because normally we have Elimination Chamber and then we go to WrestleMania, but we have Fastlane in the middle of the two, and that's in March. So a lot of crazy shit can happen tonight. You know, maybe we see Sheamus win the WWE Championship tonight, and then it goes on to Fastlane and loses it to Drew McIntyre, and then we have WrestleMania. So there's a lot of different possibilities for tonight. A lot of unpredictability, which is exciting. It's exciting. I wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong in a lot of these picks, which I don't mind to be wrong. I'd be glad to be wrong because it just means that it's really unpredictable for me. And it makes it more enjoyable to watch. So there's a lot of things to look forward to tonight. And we also have to think, too, I know Kyle was talking about Cesaro winning in the chat. Seth Rollins, I mean, he's not even on the pay-per-view. Does he somehow screw Cesaro? When a competitor is leaving the chamber, does he come in and curb stomp Cesaro to get him eliminated? Like, I don't know. Maybe, I'm not even sure. Like, there's a lot of possibilities that can go on tonight. Seth Rollins getting involved somewhat. The Miz cashing in, being involved in the pay-per-view. Does Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, does he return? Does Alexa end up in the chamber to get Randy eliminated? There's a lot of stuff that can happen tonight. All of it I'd be excited to see because it's unpredictable. And I got to give credit to WWE for a lot of the things that they're doing recently. I look at it from a fan standpoint, but I also look at it from a business standpoint. And I know the fans obviously are not going to do that, but having Bad Bunny win the 24/7 championship and then holding it last night on NBC's Saturday Night Live, a show that's been around for decades, that all the biggest names in the world, regardless of their industry, want to be on that show. And we had Bad Bunny holding a WWE championship. Despite it being the 24/7 championship, he was holding that championship during a performance on that show. That is huge for WWE, but it's also huge because, NBC hosts SNL. NBC is Peacock. WWE is transitioning to Peacock next month. So that brings in a bigger audience for people. I think this is going to be that was a great thing for WWE. A lot, and I tweeted it out, and it got a lot of traction. A lot of eyes on WWE, a lot of new fans, a lot of new people who are going to question, what is that title? What does it do? Why is Bad Bunny holding it? He wrestles? When did that happen? I got to check out WWE. Hopefully they don't watch Monday Night Raw. Maybe they watch NXT or SmackDown, or maybe even tonight's Elimination Chamber to get more information on WWE. Let's hope it's not. What is happening to my shirt here? I hope it's not Raw. But regardless, it's a big thing for WWE and their Latin audience. I'm just not understanding, like, I'm not understanding the criticism here. Like, I said it on a live stream before. The Weeknd is not a football player, but he performed at the Super Bowl halftime show to bring in different eyes, to bring in more eyes to the Super Bowl. That's exactly the point of what Bad Bunny is doing. He's there to bring in more eyes for WWE. He's there to bring in more eyes going into this Peacock season with WWE. This going into WrestleMania, the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. It's great. This is a good thing. This is a good thing for people, for WWE. So people need to just pipe down a little bit and just enjoy it. You know, The Rock is a movie star. The Rock is 50 years old. Are you going to complain if he comes back that he's too old, that he's a movie star? He's not a wrestler anymore? No, you're not. So quit making up the rules as you go. Yeah, that is a good idea too. I'm looking in the chat. Maybe Ali costs Kofi Kingston. A lot of people that can screw each other here in the chamber matches. There's a lot of different scenarios that can be played out. Maybe Kofi doesn't even make it into the match. Maybe Ali in Retribution beats the hell out of him on his way out and just jumps and locks himself in the pod. Because we know that this is only former WWE champions allowed. So what if Ali just, follows exactly what Retribution does, breaks the rules and do what they want, locks himself in the pod, and he's stuck in the match. The match starts and he's in it. What a hell of a way. Damn, imagine Ali is in the chamber and he wins the title. That'd probably be the best outcome, I would think, for this whole pay-per-view. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. A lot of things to look forward to tonight. And before I wrap up this show, I do want to check out either on Twitter or anywhere else to see if the stuff with okay, so Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful just put it out, or I see it on it's the first thing that pops up on my Twitter. He said not only has Keith Lee been pulled, but we've been told that he's not even been seen at the venue today. Wow. So yeah. So Kyle, you were right. I didn't doubt you for a second, but I just needed to confirm it for myself. Keith Lee has officially been pulled from his match tonight for the United States Championship. I hope everything is okay. I hope it's not COVID related, because we know Mia Yim had it and he's engaged to her. So yeah, a lot of unpredictability going into tonight's chamber. I want to thank everybody for watching this stream, for engaging in the chat. It's kind of hard to go into the chat as I'm doing the show and kind of going off my thoughts. So, and I don't have the chat pulled up on my screen, like on my feed. So, of course you're right, Kyle. Yeah, of course you're right. I didn't doubt you for a second. I try my best to engage with the chat while I'm doing the show, because I get so caught up in my thoughts that I might miss some thoughts here and there from people listening or watching. So I want to thank everybody for engaging in the chat, and also for checking out this stream. I'll be live again. I'll be streaming live after the pay-per-view concludes, talk about the results, give a full review of the show. If you've watched any of my content before, you know that I'm a straight shooter. I don't just say, oh, well, this is who won, that's it. No, I kind of go into detail, talk about exactly what happened, why it happened, and what's going to be happening possibly going forward. So it's always fun to talk about the shows, the pay-per-views. And it's been fun to talk about Elimination Chamber tonight. This show has been on for long enough, so I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking out me and the Angle Podcast here on YouTube. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. The subscriber count is going up, and I'm excited to see that. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Angle Radio. Also on my new TikTok account and YouTube, that is at The Angle Podcast. So we have The Angle Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, The Angle Podcast right here on YouTube, and also TikTok. Like I said, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, engaging. Hopefully we have a great night tonight. I think it's going to be a great night tonight. I went this whole show with no light. I've got natural light from the window. It's a beautiful Sunday. I think we're going to have an awesome night tonight for Elimination Chamber. I want to thank you all for watching. For now, I'm your host, Joey Karni. Check in back after the pay-per-view for my live stream, go over the results, and a full review of the show. Thank you for watching. I'm Joey Karni. I will see you after the show. Enjoy WWE Elimination Chamber 2021. Great night ahead. See you after the show.